Yes, oh, they just hit. Okay. Sorry. The big one must be fast.
Hello. It's 4 p.m., so I'd like to get this meeting started. Unfortunately, I cannot see you guys here on the Zoom. Um,
Looks like the video is not picking up all of a sudden.
all right. Um, well, I guess we can keep going. Is it okay if we keep going, or do we have to wait for it to pick up video?
Just working. Let me take just a second here.
Okay, great.
Must be ghosts in the system. Yeah, this is the season.
Oh, there you are.
Here we go.
We can't see you.
Would you like me to turn on my camera?
Why
I
not?
I do apologize. I spent the weekend doing Halloween Town announcements, and so very tired, and I don't have much of a voice, so I will do my best, and for that I apologize. But I'd like to get this meeting going, and we'll start off with approval of the minutes for September.
Make a motion to approve the minutes. Second.
All right, all in favor of approving the minutes as written? All right, any opposed? All right, the minutes are approved. Wonderful. All right, and do we have any attendees present who are not otherwise on the agenda?
Got one person, got our interviewer. Are you here for a reason or?
Yes, I
Windbone, right?
on the agenda.
Oh, okay. Okay, you're on the agenda already. Okay. Go ahead,
Okay,
Dana.
perfect. All right, moving on then. Okay, well then I would like to do our roundtable question because this has been a lot of fun for me. I know I hope you guys enjoy it. I have a pretty good question this week. And we'll start off, I'll ask the question, and then we'll start with Howard and go around today, if that's okay. In what, putting you on the spot because I'm not there. Um, in what moments have you personally felt the most joy or fulfillment while serving on the Parks and Trails Commission? And what made those experiences meaningful for you?
Wow. What a question. Moment. Kind of wrapped up in one. All the moments of going out into our great city parks and seeing all of our amenities, our wildlife, the nature, the wildflowers in our parks and stuff. And
Yeah.
does that answer you kind of?
Yeah, no, it's so personal for each person. Is
Yeah.
again, this is for contemplating and just really, getting us back to our mission of who we are and what we're doing serving here.
And I enjoy that I've got a park that's so close to me that I don't have to go a long ways to go out to enjoy beautiful things.
Yeah, absolutely. How about you, Scott?
You repeat that question once more.
Absolutely. So, in what moments have you personally felt the most joy or fulfillment while serving on the Parks and Trails Commission? And what made those experiences meaningful to you?
Can't really define a single moment like that. A lightning bolt hit me. I think, working on this, the Elk Creek Reserve, it's, getting something, started. And hopefully there's other things coming along. So it's just, an ongoing feeling, I guess.
Yeah. How about you, Lucas?
Since I'm pretty recent here, there hasn't been too much, but I really did enjoy the community day in the park. I
Mm.
thought engaging with the community and just talking to them about our parks was really enjoyable and that.
Good answer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Jacob?
About 8 or 9 years ago, I had a lady come up to me and she came to the Parks Commission and asked if we could name one of the ball fields after her grandfather. Because he was a volunteer umpire at the field for a long, long time. And a lot of the kids knew him and stuff. And so we got permission to do that. And when we finally did it and unveiled the name, his family was there, and just seeing the joy on their faces and the friends that came with them, that right there was like, that, this is part of the reason why I joined the Parks Commission. Just to see that, to see people enjoy something like that in our park. Well, that's mine.
I love that. I know for me, last year, doing the day in the park, and putting together our booth pretty impromptu, but having it turn out great and having the opportunity to engage with the public was really wonderful. For me, it was one of those days that showed me how quickly and cooperatively our commission members could work together to do something good and show up for the community. And I loved that very much. Um, and I don't see a Buck. Is there a brand in there? Oh, there you are. Would you like to answer?
Yeah, I think for me, just thinking back to when I was on the commission and then having the opportunity to work with you guys now, it's just been opportunities to work together in different capacities, whether it's on work projects in the Japanese gardens or the botanical gardens, or going on a field trip through the Milton Creek Reserve, or manning the tent at community days. Just those opportunities to get together and be together and work together has been a lot of fun for me.
Well, that's so good to hear. Yeah, it's been such a joy to work with all of you. Um, I know I very much enjoy it. So, well, thank you guys. All right. So if we'd like to move on to our interview, is Ashley available?
Hi.
Hi, Ashley. I'm so sorry I'm not there to meet you in person today. Um, please tell us who you are, a little bit about yourself, and why you'd like to join the Parks and Trails Commission.
So my name is Ashley. I've been a citizen of Columbia County for about 20 years. I love nature. I'm a board member with the Scappoose Bay Watershed Council, and I like doing a lot of volunteer work with them, restoring parks, and I just love nature is a huge part of my life. I love photographing nature. I love walking in nature. I love connecting nature.
Fantastic. And so you said you've been a board member for the Scappoose Bay Watershed Council?
Yeah,
Awesome. How long have you been doing that for?
I started at the beginning of this year.
Wonderful. And what about the St. Helens Parks and Trails Commission specifically intrigued you? Something that you're looking for contributing or?
I think I just have a love for all of our natural spaces generally, and like I want to be in the know and I want to be able to help however I can, whether that's like hands-on and doing the restoration work or listening to people's concerns about what they see going on in the park, accessibility. I really would love to see people be able to feel comfortable going outside and enjoying the parks. And Yeah.
Oh, great. Does anyone else have any questions or anything they'd like to ask Ashley?
What's gonna happen to the Friends of Botanical Gardens then?
I'm hoping that this would benefit that. And
Do you have a group? Do you have friends with them right now?
I definitely have people that would be interested. Caroline with Bob Hill, even, she's gonna help me. My partner, he has some people he knows that would be interested that live kind of close there. You guys. But yeah, I feel confident that I can get people to work on that.
Cause that's another one of our nature parks that really needs a good helping hand.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm very excited to get started on that. I'm like in the planning phases right now. And Caroline gave me some great tips.
No question, but I mean, I like the idea that. Come in here previously and you seem to be involved. Yeah, I like that. And so, okay, Patrick. So, putting that up.
I really do care.
So would you say the Botanical Garden is your favorite park?
I feel like it has so much potential. It's hard to say if it's my favorite. It's close to me, so that's nice. It is a very beautiful park and I see so much potential in it.
Needs a helping hand.
It does. Jerry took me on a walk there.
Oh, sorry. As a commissioner.
Specific goals. I think coming in, like, I feel specifically with the Friends of Botanical Gardens, like having this alliance could be really helpful for that. So I think that's my most like specific goal is focusing on the botanical gardens. And then I'm generally very interested in preserving native plants and like getting native plants in the ground. So I'd love to like help any way I can with that.
How much time do you think to volunteer? Side of the time frame. Longer. A year.
I currently have a pretty free schedule, so I work from home part-time, so I think I could a few hours a week, maybe.
Okay, yeah, that's a part of what I was wondering is, we meet here for our parks meetings once a month on the second Monday at 4 p.m. And would that be any kind of a conflict schedule for you?
Nope, that works for me.
That's a question I usually ask.
I know I was waiting for you, Howard.
I read her bio.
I approve.
Is there any other discussion, or you guys like to consider accepting? I don't believe we have any other applicants at this time.
There's no other applicants.
No, we had another, but they withdrew.
I make a motion, we recommend to city council, we bring her on board.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Any opposed? All right. Well, thank you so much. And
The council first.
Okay.
yeah.
But they haven't rejected.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I've never seen anybody rejected, so.
So,
Hey, I'm right here. I'm right here, guys.
Wonderful.
Welcome.
Fantastic. All right, you guys. Moving on then, the next item on the agenda is wind phone with Bailey.
Thank you for welcoming me back.
Of course.
And thank you for your patience because I wanted to come back and present on this last month, but I had some schedule conflicts and I'm glad to finally be here. I believe I had sent.
Yeah, it takes me just a second here.
No rush. So, does anybody remember or need a reminder of what a wind phone is? I think I recognize all the faces here, so you should know.
Yes, I was actually here
Oh,
for your
really?
first. Yeah.
Awesome then.
That was a joke, I noticed.
You just toss it into the wind.
I actually
Yeah.
talked to somebody, I was up in Seattle in September, and I was talking to somebody up there about your idea of the wind phone. And they were like, I've never heard of that. And then they were like, that is a great idea. And we were up by the locks,
Uh-huh.
and they were like, oh, this would be a perfect place for one of those. And I'm just like, well, it's not my idea.
Well, sadly, I can't take credit for the idea either, just for the idea of putting one here.
You
but-
brought it to us. I would have never known about it.
Well, I'm really excited to share that, it seems like eons ago now, I had an opportunity to meet up with Buck and visit McCormick Park and explore and look at different options. I remember after presenting last time, it was kind of asked of me to, to come back with a general design concept, location options, and some information about how this would be installed, funded, maintained, etc. So that is what I'm here to talk about today. If you'd like to go to the next slide, I can talk first a little bit about location. I think it was kind of determined that McCormick Park would be best location just because it's a large park. It's very well used. There's kind of there's different sections of the park that can be used for various different things. And after walking around with Buck, and with one of my coworkers as well that's been in support of this project, we really liked the area that is near, and if you're standing in front of the Veterans Memorial, it's kind of off to the right. There's kind of wooded but little clearings there of the Japanese garden, and that felt really special, specifically because I know that there's a lot of goals for the Japanese garden in the future. And so I certainly don't want to take away with what is currently already there and what the future goals are for it. But I think having it near there, or next to it in some way could really pull that connection, just culturally, because the original wind phone was located in Japan and it is located in Japan, and was created by Itaro Sasaki, and I would love to see kind of just paying homage to that in a small way. And I think that's a particularly beautiful area of the park as well. It's a balance of accessible and private, which is really important for having a wind phone. It's visible from the parking lot from the Veterans Memorial without feeling like it's taking away from what those things already are. But still easy to get to. You don't have to tromp all the way across the park or go to a place that feels too isolated. And then it's also really close to a maintenance access pathway that I think is used on a daily basis, Buck said, which is good to me to kind of also be able to keep eyes on it, make sure that no harm is coming to it. That can be kind of checked on often. And And then also just, yeah, the surrounding area, nature and, there's room there. I think we had talked about kind of varying different sizes of a possible structure. We've seen this done many different ways. It was kind of determined, I think, that a larger structure that is more like a phone booth itself, although those are really common and exciting, is maybe not best fit for this park, particularly due to some folks who are currently residing in the park, or frequent there often. Buck had kind of warned me that if it is large enough for someone to get inside, they will try. And so just kind of wanting to logistically think about that. If we go to next slide, I did take pictures of those different areas in the park. That photo on the right specifically that's such a gorgeous tree, and at the time it was blooming. I am not a botanist, so I cannot say what kind of tree it was. But I could imagine that it might be Japanese in nature. And let's see. It's hard looking at it now to like know exactly which direction these are all facing, but you can see the stones that kind of line the Japanese garden there in front of that tree. And then next slides are kind of more, if we didn't want it right next to it, there's these clearings there. And there's kind of several to choose from, and I'm not super picky about that either. This was just kind of this bench I took inspiration from. Buck had said that it would be really easy for them to pour a small concrete slab like that. I think he was saying that particular bench and others like it were donated by the Rotary Club, and the process of getting that done is pretty extensive. You have to, because it's made of recycled materials, you have to save those materials for a long time to get enough of them to be able to do it. And I personally don't have the space or the storage. And I don't think that Columbia Health Services does either at this time to do that. Although we do love the idea of partnering with someone to get a donated bench, but.
Actually, the Lions Club.
Oh, the Lions Club, thank you. We have several coworkers and staff at CHS that are tied to all of those different clubs, so I get them mixed up. But next picture is an example of another bench that I myself have researched that wouldn't require so much to create something that could be ordered. But I actually have another option that I'll talk about a little bit at the end when it comes to benches. Next slides are examples of other wind phones similar to kind of what I'm thinking around the United States. So something that's just big enough to offer the phone itself a little bit of shelter, to have some signage, but not enough, like that's not too big. And yeah, there's some more options there. And the next slide is some options of things that I've found that have considered as a team. I actually am currently working on another wind phone project with the city of Scappoose, and we have determined a location for that one. And I have actually purchased the little phone booth looking one that's on the right for that project. I'd love to keep them kind of cohesive since they both will be tied to Columbia Health Services, and I'd be happy to use that one again. If it's determined that something else different would be a better fit though, I'm open to that as well. There's some slightly larger ones in the next slide. So these, as you can see, these are really similar to like book libraries that we see around the neighborhood or food pantries, but they're also the perfect size for a rotary phone. So, and next slide shows the, all right, I guess I didn't update that particular slide. But those are two rotary phones that I've already purchased that are nice and sturdy. And can kind of turn my screen around here maybe so you can see I have already purchased and assembled the one that looks like a phone booth, which I am a very punny, tacky person, so I love that it looks like a phone booth. And I like that the color pops because I think if we're kind of looking across that field, you know, if you're in the parking lot at McCormick Park and you look across the field, you see that little pop of red and be like, what's that? Makes it more apt to go explore. Next slide is an example, and it's just a PDF of signage that's not exactly what the signage will look like, but it's pretty close. But that both includes kind of a brief explanation of what the Wind Phone is for those who've never been to one before. And also I had looked at this project as being a tool for helping community members access resources. So they can do that by clicking on our QR code that takes them to our Columbia Health Services link tree and our community resource guide that I think I passed around last time. And then also the Wind Phone website where other grief resources and things are located. And I think I did mention in my last one that I would love to dedicate this particular Wind Phone to my grandfather. You touched my heart just now at the start of this meeting, talking about dedicating things to grandfathers. But he was an inspiration for me in this project and also a member of this community that worked for this community years, and I would love to just have that personal dedication to him. As for funding, Columbia Health Services has given me $1,000 for both of these Wind Phones for both St. Helens and Scappoose, but that funding is a little bit flexible. And so far is, you know, with the materials that we've kind of looked at and decided on, seems very doable. And of course, you know, if any additional maintenance supplies are needed, they've already expressed that you know, is very possible for them to add funding to that. As far as if we were to pour a concrete slab for a bench, Buck didn't say if that would cost anything or if those are just materials that the city has available. So I would like to know that beforehand. But as far as another option I've been exploring for a bench, I've connected with Shauna, the owner of the Real Deal gift store and garden center here in town, and they have their own concrete business, and she has offered up to a 50% discount on a concrete bench and possibly being able to help pour it and the slab as well. She said that they could even potentially put like rebar into the bench legs and into the concrete slab to just make it that much more sturdy. So more details to come on that if that's an option, but I actually plan to connect with her tomorrow to kind of share with her a little bit more about this. And then I think that with the format, the kind of the design concept that we have, maintenance is going to be really easy. I want it to be easy for park staff and for CHS staff. But yeah, any possible repairs or replacements can be worked into CHS budget if needed. And then the QR codes on the signage are what is going to be able to offer those resources rather than having hard copies for people to take. That will just kind of just require less like restock back and forth, that kind of thing. That's all the information that I had. Any questions?
I still think this is a cool idea. But do you want to use a rotary phone? I just don't know how to use that.
Well, the part of it, and it's actually on the Wind Phone website, they kind of said that rotary phones are essential for it because, and you're right, they don't know how to use it, but maybe that's a good way for them to learn.
Yes.
But no, it's part of that nostalgic piece of, and
I think it's a good idea. I think it's
yeah,
cool.
the tactile piece of actually going through the process of turning the dial and stuff is part of the experience.
I think it's really cool. And I like the red one that you have on there too.
Yeah, I like the red too.
Yeah, that the red phone box is definitely my favorite concept of those. Is really adorable, and I love this project. I think the location is super smart, um, especially finding a way to incorporate it there nearby the Japanese gardens. I think that's a really wise choice, and like you said, easy to access and easy to keep an eye on. Um, Very smart. So I'm really hopeful for you to continue on this project and get some final costs after speaking with Buck on the cement slabs and
Yeah, if we're able to kind of get approval on this location, I can be ready to purchase materials anytime.
So do we need to ask the city council to okay it? Dana?
I'm not sure on if this is one of those things that we can sign off on or if we have to have council approval.
I would think it would, let's go through Buck and his crew. I don't see why it would need to.
I think I remember Buck saying something that we might need approval, but I'm not. I don't know.
Make a recommendation to approve it then.
I'll make a recommendation to
council.
approve it through city council and if they okay it, we'll keep moving forward with it.
I know that the weather isn't necessarily on our side a lot of the time now. I don't know what that requires in terms of concrete planning, but my timeline is really flexible. My only goal here is to have it installed before I go on maternity leave in February, so.
Well, I'm hoping Buck's gonna pour a slab for us in the next few weeks for
So-
another bench at Hop Hill, so.
All right, well, I'll make a motion that we get it approved and if it's passed through city council, we just move forward.
Wonderful.
All right, all in favor of approving this project moving forward?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, well, we approve this and send it off to council to give their final okay and then work with Buck on getting that installed.
Thank you. And one last thing, once it is installed, we would, and CHS has brought this idea forward and would be happy to plan it. We would love to have like a small ribbon cutting ceremony where we invite community members, city staff, members of their organizations to kind of get the word out. And we'll too, once they're installed, we will, get it registered through the WinPhone website and do our advertising around the community and social media and details of that are still to kind of be figured out, but I think there's lots of ways we can do that.
Cool.
Sounds great. Awesome. Well, I definitely look forward to the ribbon cutting when it happens. I'd love to be there.
Yes, thank you. Right.
All right. Okay. So as far as the next item, which is the bylaws addendum, so I know I had made a note for myself to create some language for removing the publicly accessible buildings language in our bylaws. And I do apologize. I came down with COVID right after our meeting and then went straight into the most busy, crazy time of my year. So I did not put together language on that. So my goal will be to work on that over this next month and come back to our next meeting with something regarding that. And while I'm working on the language for potential changes, specifically regarding the publicly accessible buildings language, I wanted to speak with you guys and see if you'd be interested in including some language regarding the parks assessment, which we'll still go over later as far as the standing item. But I wanted to do a quick touching base with you as commission members on how it's been going and if you would like to continue it on as part of our standard practice as commission members. And if so, I'd like to consider adopting language into the bylaws that just states that as one of our responsibilities in the roles and responsibilities of commission.
Can we continue doing the assessments so we can see if anything, fragment or anything comes up before we do any type of codification on it?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. This will be, the start of the third month. And so we'll for sure, be doing it again this month. Um, and I can work on language also and have it in the just in case. But I would like to further discuss that again, and see if we'd like to consider adopting it or what you guys would like to recommend on that.
Not that I'm reticent about it, it's just that I'd rather have us do it for a while and then get it down pat and then codify it.
Okay, great.
I agree on that one, Scott.
Great. And do you guys have a um kind of a estimated timeline on how long you feel doing it in practice may take?
This till right now.
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
I haven't really thought about it myself till right now, so.
Okay, no worries, no pressure.
I would think at least one cycle, which would be 3 months,
Okay.
at least, one cycle.
Maybe go through the winter months and see how it feels during then.
Mhm.
All right. All right. Well, I do apologize for not having the language ready on the adjusting that the bylaws for the accessible buildings, but I will have that for you guys next month.
That's no problem, Dana.
Um,
I just want to make sure that you know that it's nothing, a pushback against you and the assessment or anything like that. I just want to do it a few times. to
oh
get-
no. Oh, yeah, no apologies needed. I appreciate that very much. And again, this is a cooperative commission effort. It's nothing personal on my behalf at all whatsoever. I take no offense. Um, just trying to get my timelines kind of in a row so I can be prepared. But this is a commission as a whole thing. It's my whole goal is that it's a useful tool that's easy to do, but keeps us on track for goals and working cooperatively with Buck and maintenance and council. So you guys are driving this, I'm just here trying to facilitate. So so I'm here for you in that. No worries at all. Okay, so then the topic 6 would be the joint meeting topics. Do you guys have any topics that you would like to recommend that we discuss at our joint meeting coming up?
Well, obviously the bylaws. And I'd like to discuss further the what we're gonna set aside for the Mill Creek Reserve.
I'm sorry. So regarding the bylaws, what specifically are we wanting to discuss with them?
Well, I mean, I don't look at it as, having a set agenda on it, just what people feel that about the bylaws and if they can fulfill them. As they're stated, they're written right now.
Okay. Okay, maybe I'm not understanding. Part of my goal with getting some concise topics to discuss with council is to ensure that we have a meeting that goes pretty smoothly and that is respectful of time and make sure we have the ability to discuss all of the things that we'd like to. And so as far as with the bylaws and how we as commission members are feeling that we're able to meet them, how would that differ from the conversations that we've had the last couple of meetings? And is there something specific that you'd like to address while in the presence of council?
Well, I don't think it'll be that much different than what we've been discussing. It's just that, they have the final word on it, I think. We get to make our recommendations and then they, if I'm correct.
My question would be, is
Okay.
we gonna have enough information to give them a precise thing on what we want it to read? It sounds like we're gonna be about a month late with that. I
Well,
wonder.
yeah, and with the only, I mean, the only change that we were looking, after our last conversation, the only change we were looking to recommend would be removing the terms publicly accessible buildings as far as locations that we're responsible for attending to. And so that's a pretty specific topic. And rather than as a whole, whether or not we're fulfilling our roles and duties. And so are you looking to ask the council themselves whether or not they believe that we as commissioners are fulfilling our roles and duties? Is that, I'm trying to understand what the kind of framework for that discussion is going to be.
I mean, we could, approach it that, this, we're looking at this, the 2.74. And, we can read it together. It's very short and, let them, also, give it consideration. It might not, get a resolution right away either. So, it's just.
And the 2.74 being the municipal code.
It's 090, that's. This will be, I think it's 2.7409.090. That's just off.
Okay, so just specifically you want to review,
Well, that seems to have the most, questionable bits that, what our roles are.
How long are we having our joint meeting? Is it a half hour, an hour with the city council or what?
I think there's not really a defined time.
yeah, I don't think it's a defined time. Brandon, how long do you guys maintain for your joint meetings?
Well, that's what I was gonna say. So first off, is there a commitment that everyone's going to be there? Because our last one with the library board, there was not a quorum, so it was canceled. And
Gotcha.
then with our last one with the planning commission, there was nothing to discuss. So everybody came together and nobody had anything to talk about, just went home. So first off, please be there. And then second, if you are gonna be there, please, which you're doing now, have something to discuss. But so far, there hasn't been an end time. There hasn't been an established hour and a half or 2 hours. It's just.
And that's October 22nd at 4
Second.
here.
Yeah. And I know for myself, being mindful and respectful of their time, and trying to get as much done in the time that we have is really important. And so, we've had numerous discussions about the bylaws and about the municipal code. And after our last one, the only recommendations with the entire group as a whole that we discussed changing was just that language regarding the publicly accessible buildings. And so, if you feel that there's something else or something specific in there that you would like to address with them so that we can, like I said, have a framework for conversation, unless you're wanting to just kind of run by them as a whole of like, do you feel, that we're meeting these? Because otherwise I'm not quite sure I understand what would be the benefit of going over all of that with them, since we've already done it as a group here quite extensively.
It's only, a couple paragraphs to 090. I don't have it in front of me, we have, what it states is, by memory is that, we have, reviewing of budgets. And, it's quite detailed.
It is quite deep. It's more than a couple paragraphs. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 paragraphs.
That could be a rabbit hole at a meeting like that.
Exactly. That's why I'm trying to be respectful and concise.
I'm wondering if we couldn't bring up the change we'd like to see and then just say, does the city council think that we're meeting this, and it's up to them to go ahead and read it at their own time and come with a conclusion for we're meeting their goals for what we're doing.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have a problem at all bringing it up as the topic. Definitely mention the change that we're considering and that I'm building language for that. And actually, if they have any suggestions or recommendations, that'd be great. I could give them the option to go through and read that section if they'd like to, if we have time to. And ask them if they believe that we're meeting that. I'm hoping that they're already familiar with it, especially since we as a commission have been discussing it. But I would at this time a little hesitant to go over each item individually and allow lengthy discussion just for the sake of time concerns.
I
Just
think like what Howard said, and I kind of feel like Howard does, that if there's something specific, let's do it. But
Yeah,
let's not go over everything, because it took us forever to go over it.
Yeah.
And I
Right.
think, that, you know, we've made these, you know, we've made the recommendations and just hit the main topic.
I would say,
Yeah.
Dana, what I would like to see, I think, would be just kind of an update on highlights. What has the group accomplished in the last 6 months? This is what we're working on. Have
Right.
pictures of your projects, have pictures of the Milton Creek Woodland Reserve. Make it very informative and
yeah,
and this is what we need from you. This is how you as a council can help us. So this is what we're doing. This is
Yep.
what we kind of go from there.
yeah. That was how I was imagining.
Because with a Milton Creek update, I wonder if we should give them an update of the urban trail, just to keep it on their radar.
I
Well,
think that'd be
I have two suggestions.
yeah.
When we had our meeting last month, we talked about Sand Island Marine Park. And just the point we wanted to bring up there was, you know, we're an advisory commission. But what's been taking place at Sand Island Marine Park, we get that, you know, after it's already done. And we would like, you know, to be in the loop. We realize that we're an advisory group. We don't want to make the decision, but since it is a park, we'd like to have some input into it. I think that was one thing that we talked about last time.
I think there's
Okay.
a number of examples of us being cut out for in making decisions. Before we got it and we didn't get any input.
We can mention all of those. I mean, I don't have an issue with that.
Yeah.
I know when we did the stage, that was kind of, you know, railroaded through us without, you know, getting any advice. So,
Well, I mean, they just had just, I think a couple weeks ago, didn't you have Brad come in and discuss Sand Island? And
Gonna be Wednesday, I believe.
It's gonna be
This
Wednesday.
coming Wednesday, he'll be coming back.
and
this Wednesday, what time is that?
I'm not sure if I'm not sure which meeting that's gonna be at. I would imagine the afternoon.
yeah, work session.
Okay. Well,
I
that
know Before, you guys had mentioned you'd like to have a representative at that, so I'm not sure if that's still the plan.
and that's this coming Wednesday.
Let me look at the agenda, but I believe it is.
Okay, I'll have to look to see.
Anyway, that was one thing
Yeah.
I thought that we discussed last meeting that we wanted to bring up at the joint meeting is that, you know, we'd like to be in the loop prior to decisions are made. We'd like to have our input. We realize that
Be able to input on things concerning the parks and trails.
Okay, yeah, and that's-
We've learned about it secondhand
Yeah.
on what's going on in the park, and we haven't had any input.
Yeah, and I can appreciate that. And that's kind of what I was looking for specifically is what it is, you know, in regards to the bylaws that you guys had questions or concerns about. And so, and with the discussion, making sure that that we aren't kind of approaching council as a, ganging up or,
Mhm.
or making any kind of an environment that is
Negative.
in negative or would lead to less cooperation in the future. And so this is helpful for me to try to framework some conversation and some bullet points when having that conversation. That way it's not a blaming. We're not, telling them anything like, oh, you're not doing what we think you should do. But instead, I'll be able to take those comments that you guys just gave me. I took notes and apply them to the language that we have in the municipal code. And then I can shape some conversation from there, where it's maybe this disconnect between what we have interpreted based on the verbiage in the municipal code and what we've witnessed in action as far as, feeling left out of discussions and decision making. I think that's appropriate.
And there's another thing was about contacting the engineer before we visit the park.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, so we can take a look at that. All right.
And we can always bring more up at if we have something, we can always bring it up because hopefully we're gonna do this more often than just once a year, have a joint meeting.
They're currently scheduled for twice a year.
Twice a year. Mhm.
So we can always re-issue
Yeah, I mean,
questions.
it's just.
Absolutely.
Cause I'm
Yeah.
planning to be there, but I'm gonna be in Central Oregon till about noon. So I'm hoping to be here by 4 o'clock that day.
Well, I have for sure cleared my afternoon, but I can't go alone. So, so hopefully others can join us. And
I'm
enough.
gonna try to be there at 4. I should be off work in time and back in town.
I'll be there.
All right.
On my calendar, I don't be there. So the other thing that I was gonna bring up later today is real quick. I was just gonna ask Brandon. So last meeting we had, we passed a motion to ask the Parks Department to get permission to implement the, urban trail. And has a decision been made on that, Brandon?
It hasn't showed up on any agendas yet, so
How does it get on your guys' agenda?
I would think it would go through Buck and then get passed on up through there, so Buck and Mohammed probably and go up through the ladder, but yeah, I haven't seen it on anything and I don't see it on this week's agenda either.
Okay.
But that's
So we can
something
bring-
that we could do at the meeting when we have it is we could
Well,
say it needs to be done. We're looking for them to give us some final approval with Buck or however it would go down.
what do you
Yeah,
think, Brandon?
I think that's,
Wait till do it that way or wait till I can talk to Buck and Mohammed? I can talk to Buck and he can talk to
We
Mohammed.
could do both. I don't think it hurts to put that on the topics list to discuss, because
Yeah, if it doesn't hurt, then I'd like to see that on the, that we've passed a motion. We'd like to, start the implementation once, Halloween Town is, wrapped up this year.
absolutely. Yeah, I was putting that down in my notes, that regarding the urban trail, I would like a quick bullet point of progress made and request for moving forward.
Yeah.
All right. And then as far as the Milton Creek project, it's definitely something I would love to discuss with council. I know we'll talk about the Milton Creek a little bit later. Lucas, did you have the slideshow ready? Oh, yeah, it's on the agenda. Great. So once we look at the slideshow, maybe that's something that we could bring with us and have prepared for discussion with council. I think that would be really great.
That's kind of what I went into the idea with it as.
Great.
You're looking at about a 5-minute slideshow or something.
Short, yeah.
Sweet. I think that gives us 3 really good topics to discuss. It allows us time in case any of them go lengthy. Hopefully they don't. Wink, wink, Jerry. And then
No, I can make it quick. I think they've been through it enough times. I'm actually tired of going over it. I've gone over it.
Um, but no, I think that gives us three really good topics. It will allow us plenty of time, pretty concise conversations, and begin that relationship of cooperative collaboration with council. I think that's great. Unless there's
Okay, now,
any, yeah.
The other thing that, that Brandon mentioned was, an update of the things we've done this year.
Hmm.
Because in the past, I know that you
Oh.
or someone has always gone and presented that to the council. Is that gonna be part of it? A quick
What I've
overview?
heard is this is kind of the replacement for those presentations, so.
Yeah. Is there,
What do we wanna call it? The wind?
I
Oh,
guess,
things like that.
one other thing that I would like to bring up would be the parks assessment and the way that we've been
That would be-
starting that and get some feedback from them. Um, I think that would be really good. Otherwise, is there anything else that is actually been implemented or any large changes that would be important to bring up to them that they wouldn't otherwise already, the waterfront, all of that it's been pretty heavy for them, so I don't think we need to go over any of that. Um, but other than the parks assessment, Milton Creek, Urban Trail, those are all things that we have been working on and doing this year. Is there anything else?
But well, like Friends of the Park, like Ashley, I mean, just in one sentence that, we've been working on trying to, get expand Friends of the Park, and
Yeah.
we potentially have a person that's interested in, doing the botanical gardens and, just.
And we have one
So
also
they-
for McCormick.
Oh yeah. Yeah. Okay. So I think that would be excellent also. Botanical Gardens and McCormick. And I think that's great too. Because what I don't think is super helpful was in the past having, big PowerPoints put together that just kind of goes over all the same stuff of all the same parks without any really big changes. And again, trying to be mindful of time and what is important. We give ourselves these little updates, and hopefully council is aware of the wonderful things we're doing at Nob Hill and whatnot. But
Pretty full agenda right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
but this is
Nate,
exactly,
I have a suggestion that you've already kind of mentioned earlier.
yeah.
So, when we talk about, we'd like to be involved, I think maybe you should be the person that does that, because you're a lot more diplomatic than at least I am. So,
I appreciate that. Yeah.
maybe just have you do that and just say, this is the way that we all feel, and,
Yeah.
like you said, you don't want to make it, we don't want to be antagonistic or advertising.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I would love to lead the discussions. And that way we can keep them pretty organized, and mindful. And by all means, interject, when you have something, especially, specific to a project that you're working on quite a lot, like say with the urban trail and whatnot.
The other thing, when you're kind of organizing it, I know that Lucas is going to do the slide presentation, but I think also that Scott should maybe have a little overview about how we're dealing with the Columbia County port.
With the port. Yeah.
Because he's kind of been
Absolutely.
so they know that, hey, it's not just us here, we've also been dealing with the port, and they're very supportive. And I think that would be something
Absolutely.
that they should be aware of.
Yeah. And I think too, I'll probably organize it in a timeline where we don't start out with the bylaws as the topic to go. Maybe slip that in the middle somewhere so we can have some positivity. Yeah.
Put in the mood to go to sleep. I mean. Well, thanks, Scott.
Yeah, no, I think that's great. I think that'll be great. And this is quite a lot. So if we can be concise, and mindful, but yeah, this is some things that we're already doing, some things that we'd like to do, and then kind of, that bit of housekeeping there with the bylaws and how we're feeling. I think that's excellent. All right. Anything else that you guys feel
Hey.
super important to bring up?
I have to run.
Okay.
Hey, Jacob.
Later.
Bye.
See you.
All right.
A week from Wednesday.
Yes. I'll see.
Let's try these. We get done real business. Okay.
All right. So then the
Jacob for
master
president now. Oh. Sorry.
master plan edition. Scott.
What I'm looking at is, like the Milton Creek Reserve is, an amenity for the city to get people out here and, looking for more amenities to get people interested in our town. So with that in mind, I want to buy a golf course. So I talked to John and he said the first thing I need to do is get it on the master plan. And so we can get granting for it. I don't think it's still pie in the sky. But just to get it on the master plan, see if there's the option, if it were to come up, the present golf course is not for sale currently. But should it come up for sale, we might be able to move on it. If we have it in the master plan and we're looking for grants for it. I already have a tentative donation of $100,000 for it, for the equipment, golf equipment. That was with the caveat that the high school golf team, boys and girls, both from Scappoose and St. Helens, give free use of it during their seasons. I'm also thinking that it could be something that we could partner with Scappoose, for the golf course. But now I don't have we don't have a quorum right now with Jacob, because I was gonna ask for a vote to come.
We do. We have
Five.
5.
Count myself, yes. I just wanna get the okay from the commission to go to the council and ask them to put it into the master plan. Nothing more, nothing less. It's not a final decision of anything. It's just something to explore.
So I am not familiar with, if anyone else is able to explain to me how addendums, additions, etc. are implemented in regards to the master plan.
Well, I didn't really explore that because John had said you need to get it on the master plan. And so my assumption was, he told me, I believe, I don't remember the exact verbiage, but he just stayed down to give you the okay to put it on the master plan. So that's what I'm going on.
That'd be kind of one of my questions, is how hard is it? Because I know a few years ago, they said that they really wanted to redo the master plan again, but there was no money at that time. And then I'm
Right.
wondering if we're gonna have them start trying to do, could have a few other things that we'd like to addendum. Would it be easier for the city council to just do a line item here and there? Or would it be better if we came back with 4 or 5 different things so that they were only having to look at trying to really change it once rather than multiple times?
Yeah, the reason I have other reasons why I'd like to do this fairly quickly. Just don't want to get into them right now. They're kind of a private conversation type stuff. So.
Yeah, I'll put in my 2 cents worth on this. When this was brought up a few years ago, we talked about it, and I was really totally, against it, I thought, hey, this is a bad idea. So I play men's league golf Monday nights in summertime in Scappoose. And then every Friday, there's a group of 16 of us. Usually there's about 12 of us. We play golf on Fridays at Mid Valley. And I am missing a friend from Western wanted me to play golf on the 22nd. I told him yesterday I can't do it because I gotta go to a meeting. Had it on my calendar. So from just talking to people in the men's league golf, I know that this is a long-term project. It's incredibly expensive. I know all those things. So there's a lot of things against this. But I would say that there is interest among people to do this. I know that there was a group of people that actually wanted to buy the course here. They had offered the previous owner less than what he would take. So they wouldn't, you know, and it was, I can't remember what the price was, but it was quite a bit. The other thing is when I play on Fridays up at Mid Valley, I've been playing there for quite a while on Fridays, and I've got to know some of the staff there really well. And a few years ago, what the city of Longview did, they own the property, they own the golf course, everything. And they would have another person run the golf course. And then they decided, well, they were gonna do it themselves. When I was there, the staff was saying, oh, as soon as the city takes over, the place is gonna run down, it's not gonna do any better, da, 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 da. Well, actually, they had really a good, their ground superintendent took over running the place. It is absolutely run, the course is better. It improves everything inside the clubhouse, you know, the cafeteria, everything. And the place is incredibly busy. And they were making money prior to that. So I assume that, you know, I was told that they were making money before they did this. So, you know, it's a business, you know, and so I am for getting this on the master plan. And I realize it's probably a long shot that it has, but just, you know, listening to the people, the golfers that are like my age in St. Helens, they would really like to see it. I don't know if there's enough people to, I like the idea of, I like the idea of doing it with Scappoose. I think that's a great idea. I think the idea of having the Scappoose High School boys and girls golf team, the St. Helens boys and girls golf team be able to go there free. And I know maybe you have like, no, if they're on the golf team, just reduced rates for the rest of the year. So they just have to pay like $5 or, you know, whatever, or maybe free that they can play all year long. So I think this is really a good idea. That the club in Scappoose, Wildwood, is extremely expensive right now. I mean, the group that we play up with, we used to play there every Monday, and the price went up so much that we decided that we would drive up to Mid Valley besides going to Wildwood because the cost was so much. So, and they're incredibly busy. So, you know, I don't know what the possibilities, but I would like to see that at least addressed by people that are more knowledgeable than myself. I think that's a great idea, Scott. And I make a motion that I would like to see this go on. I think,
Well, let's pause for a second. Lynn has had her hand up. Lynn.
Hi, is this going to be maintained by our parks maintenance?
We have, it's just an idea right now. So it's not fleshed out whatsoever. The person that I've been speaking with has said that this, you know, would likely make money. So it could be an asset in that regard. So no, I have nothing to give you, Lynn, on that.
Yeah, and the other thing is, like up at Mid Valley a couple of years ago, the state of Washington gave them a huge grant to update their water agriculture, you know, that type of thing. So, you know, once it becomes becomes a government organization. Anyway, I think it's a good idea to look into. I think it's a long range thing, but I think it would really be good for the city of St. Helens.
It would be, do we have space within a city limits that would allow a city to have a golf course within the urban growth
It doesn't necessarily
boundary?
have to be in city limits either.
Well, how would a city be in?
Portland has a number of golf courses and they're out with out with the Portland Center, so I think it wouldn't really need to be, and the city already has property outside the city limits.
Mhm.
So I don't see that as a hurdle.
I think it's good for getting the conversation started.
Mhm.
Well, I,
Hospital property. We own it
Sorry.
already.
if I can make a couple of comments, for one, I think having a golf course that's accessible, that's more accessible, especially something that can be utilized by the youth, would be fantastic. I love that idea and I support that greatly. I do have a little bit of concerns as far as long-term like implementation and management, etc. I understand business-wise that it could potentially be an earning option for the city itself. However, it's quite complex, and as you said, it's just an idea at this time. So that there's nothing been hammered out, and so I'm sure no other questions that I have on there would be able to be answered. But I do wonder, and I do question, as I asked before, in regards to, like you said, John told you your next step would be to get it on the master plan. And so, what is the process of making addendums and additions to the master plan? How does that happen? Because the last one was done in 2015, and while we have implemented some things, nothing has been updated, changed. And as Howard mentioned earlier, when we've talked about, getting an updated master plan, the conversation has gone in that the city doesn't have the funds to create an updated master plan, part of which is what prompted me to move on to the parks assessments the way that I did, for the purpose of information gathering that would be utilized for a future master plan. So again, does anybody know the process of getting an addendum or addition to the existing master plan?
As I said before, I couldn't be, I'm not 100% sure. But as you said, we haven't had a master plan done in 10 years. So I think that could be a plus on getting something like this on there, because I mean, how long are we gonna wait until the next master plan, and we can't do anything until then? So, I mean, it could be,
Could that be one of the topics that we discuss with council at our meeting, the master plan?
It could, I don't wanna get bogged down.
Right. Well, and I can prioritize too, when I'm going and making our agenda for the meeting, or my proposed like topic agenda basically. I can prioritize them, because I think the topic of a master plan is something that we keep revisiting and revisiting and revisiting. And especially if we're wanting to request additions to it at this time, I support this. I support your request, and I don't see any reason why we shouldn't start the discussion. However, I don't understand how to make that happen. And so I think having that discussion with council is important, unless anyone else has information and guidance on that.
You know anything about it?
Seen that done since I've been here, so I'm sure.
That's why if they're gonna invest a lot of time, there's probably 3 or 4 different things we'd love to add to the master plan that we've talked about over the years.
Not the plan addition, should have been additions. I was gonna also suggest that we put on a pickleball court, since the surface of this pickleball court at Campbell Park, and people have been requesting it be resurfaced, but I'm not sure if resurfacing would impact the ability of the tennis court, so they might need to be separated. So
I think one of the people I don't play with the group here very often, but I have, and I know that they would like to have permanent nets there, and there's 2 courts there, and I think They have three pickleball courts on one, so if there was three pickleball courts was, with nets and surfaced correctly. I know the pickleball community would be a lot happier with that.
Well, I mean, it could be, resurfacing, I mean, what the idea of putting it on a master plan is to be able to explore it further. That's what these things are. It's just like when, with, Heine Human, when I was looking at getting a pathway down there. That was part of a segment of the master plan. And these things are, they might not pan out, but it's just something to explore. And that's what, these things, I'm asking for, these things to be added on to the master plan as an addendum. And again, just when I had a quick conversation with John, said, just get the council to approve it as, as an addendum to the master plan. So it's not like, we're deciding to buy a golf course right now. Probably won't happen, but it's just,
You've asked
something that we
me-
can work on.
It's just we've asked before that there could be other things that could be added. We're always kind of like, well, wait till we do the new master plan in the next 2 years. So I mean, there's other things that we've had in mind before suddenly researching a golf course. Yeah.
Yeah, maybe if we could get that list together before October 22nd. Or we can also just approach, mention these and say that there might be some other things that we'd like to add.
Well, that's exactly my point, is like I would love to just have that quick conversation regarding the master plan with council,
that'd be good.
not necessarily coming to them with like, hey, we want to change this, and this. However, having the conversation of, we feel that the master plan is outdated because we do have our little laundry list of items that we would like to add. We've completed quite a bit. How do we go about updating or adding addendums to the master plan? I think that would be a healthy conversation, because if it's been given to you as a task to do, we need to know how to do it. And so, yeah, so I'd like to just quick touch on that with them, not to break apart the master plan or to bring them our list of things, but to say how do we, because then we can move forward with your request. I think that would be great. Does that make sense? I hope that came out okay.
Yeah, we're gonna have it on the agenda for the 22nd.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Okay. Anything else on that before we move on?
No.
Okay. So as far as the parks assessments goes, thank you again to everybody who completed them this month. And I did send over the Excel sheet as it shows up. And this is, again, cumulative information. So everything that we filled out so far on it. And am I able to screen share?
I think it would be something on your side.
No, let's see. Share. Only the host can share in this meeting.
Oh. Is it the Excel sheet?
Yeah, not yes, the Excel sheet, but let's see. Yeah, because I would like to say yeah. Well, so I know we've been able to hand over the hand it over before, but yeah, if you want to at least pull up the Excel sheet, if you're not able to have me screen share, because on my end it's saying that you have to do that.
I made you the host. I don't know if that will change it.
Oh, you made me the host? Okay, let's see here.
Yes.
Oh, here we go. All right. So, how do we do the screen? All right. So, all right, are you guys able to see that? All right, so here, what we have is the background information of what I'm able to see from when you guys complete the assessment tool. So this is
Can you
not,
enlarge it?
huh?
Can you enlarge it? Barely see it.
Yeah.
There.
Is that better?
Organized.
So this is the overall information. So again, it just shows, you know, how many responses cumulatively that we've received, how many total observations have been completed, which parks have been completed. So this is all just kind of the presentation style information that we went over last time. And this is just kind of demographics that would be helpful again with the future master plan. And because it's cumulative here, we still have, you know, overall mostly sunny, but here we've, you know, been getting quite a bit more of those rainy, wet days coming in recently. And what I like about this is here we're showing overall our parking, and this one's really good to look at because we haven't had any days where there was no available spaces, but there is quite a bit in our parks that show no available or designated parking here. As far as patrons present, it looks, you know, a little over half the time, yes. And we can go over the individual demographics, but we don't have to. Again, this is just gathering information for future projects. And overall here we're looking at satisfaction now for our parks. And you know, light blue would be unsatisfied or gray, whereas the dark blue is no opinion. So overall, it looks like, you know, our patrons are pretty positive so far. Either that or they don't have anything to say. With the biggest issues being maybe safety, and those structures and amenities. And as far as responses for compliments, complaints, I'm able to open it up and take a look at the detailed responses. Unless it kicks me right back out. All right. It didn't want me to look at that. Where were we? As far as passive demographics. Oh, here we go. So see if we can. All right, so it doesn't look like we've had any updated information specific since our last meeting on feedback. Safety issues. None here on any of our recent ones. So that's great. So there really wasn't anything big to show this month, which is fabulous. And so I'd like to show you guys this, and you should have access to this. I did send this over, but this is the Excel sheet that is created from every single response. And so for this month we had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 responses since our last meeting. And then we're able to look at each and every single category, quick breakdown. And what's helpful about this one is that this can be sent straight to Buck and he can look at right away. So like this column here, areas that require attention. Now this is the view only form of it right now, so I can't click on them and expand them for the purpose of this presentation, but this kind of gives a nice checklist of like, was this done? Was this completed? But these are the specific issues, and it's directly linked to which park it was. So this form is so highly useful. So as we're getting over here and we're talking about, you know, where the poison oak is, where the dead and decaying trees are that we noticed in the last presentation that I put up last month. You know, on their end, when it's not the read-only form, they can click that particular column and go right back over and look at, okay, it was affiliated with this particular park, and what date and what time that it was spotted. So I wanted to show this to you guys this week because this is super cool and I love this. And while it's right now, it's only in the read only form. When I have it pulled up in my Excel, I can go through and sort out the responses just by, say, which park it is. And I can pull up just everything for the one park, or I can sort it by specifically what, you know, complaints were put in, and I can pull up just that. So it's really neat and allows easy, quick overview of everything. But also, if I'm looking for very specific information or wanting to create, you know, a checklist for Buck or for maintenance, this is it, and it's super concise, and I really enjoyed it. So on our end, you know, I can come in here and look at it, and then and view our responses here as we did before. Or in here, this was the presentation that we had done last time. I opted not to go through the presentation this week because there really wasn't anything specific to add to it. There was nothing to bullet point. So again, thank you to everyone who did complete it. It's great to gather that information. But I wanted to show you how it can be utilized not just as a information gathering tool, but as a useful, functional kind of task list for our maintenance. Okay, and I can be done sharing now if you want to take that back from me. All right, and then did you guys have any feedback, comments after doing the assessments this month?
With the, I just feel that I come through that and look, you see tree debris, put it down, tree debris, it's fall. You know, a lot of helmets, Walnut Park, new helmet there, it's big. But I just don't want it. I feel like I'm kind of slaying off Buck because I'm putting tree debris, but obviously you can't get out there that quickly. So, you know, just I feel bad putting writing these things down when I know that they're going to be tended to, you know, fairly quickly. So.
Yeah, I don't feel bad, because again, it's just for bringing awareness, right?
Yeah.
And then, you know, say the tree debris is there now, which we expect it's the time of year, but in 6 months, if it's still there, then it's an issue.
Yeah, well, just like with Walnut Park again, there was a pile of stuff, debris, and that was taken away from last time I visited. So
Yeah.
But you know, it is an ongoing maintenance. Now you have to go with that big tree, cause
Absolutely.
it sheds a lot.
Absolutely. And we're aware of this. Buck's aware of this, right? This is normal park stuff. But it's nice to take a view and it's nice to take note and um I did not add on again my assessment, the specific things that I pointed out as far as like the dead trees and whatnot on the walking trails from last month, because we had had the full discussion of it last month. Um, and so I feel like for myself and my assessment of that, I brought that to the attention. Now, when the next person takes over the walking trails and they see that for the first time, it'd be appropriate to address it. And again, that begins to build those statistics of are we attending to things over long term or are we not? And some stuff we just won't be able to due to cost and the workload on our maintenance crews. And that's just reality. But this is still helpful for bringing attention to it.
Quick question is, that'd be good to be able to go back on other people's assessments to see what they saw and see if that's still happening too.
Absolutely.
Like, you might be able to, you might miss it if you're not thinking about it or, just an oversight or something like that.
Absolutely. Which is why I can get this Excel sheet now that I'm figuring out how to get access to it and send it over. I will start sending it earlier next week. I'm so sorry. This is my worst month of the year. Please forgive me for being delayed on things, you guys. I really am sorry. I beg your forgiveness.
You still got almost a whole month to be.
Just two more
Straight.
weekends. 2 more weekends. uh,
More
but-
money.
but does everybody is anybody feeling like it's pretty easy to go through and fill these out? Any other comments I should know?
I was hoping to try to have done one, but my email went down when I was on the train, so I couldn't send anything.
Oh no, that's okay.
That's why you didn't
Yeah.
get anything from me this month.
That's all right. And what I did is I saved the link and I just put it in a note in my phone so that I can access that link all the time. I don't have to have my email.
Mhm.
And so I just saved the link in a safe space that I know I can access anytime. Because that's really helpful for me. I lose emails if I let them go like that. So are you guys comfortable keeping the same parks assignments that you've had the last 2 and want to do it again in this month before we switch it up?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Any other feedback on the parks assessment, or is there anything else you want me to look at specifically?
That we can think of right now.
Okay. Well, you guys, I've really been grateful for this. It's been a lot of good information gathering, and remember, this is for ongoing, continued support for our maintenance team, as well as hopefully master plan application moving forward. So that's great. All right, so let's move on to the Milton Creek. And can we combine 9 and 10? Use the Milton Creek and the slideshow as one?
Let's do that.
Sweet.
I do have a bit to go through here myself.
Head first.
I did meet with Elliot and a woman named Lindsay Noble Wilson, who is the grant writer for the port. They're both very enthusiastic about this, and I think they want this already completed, by the end of this year. At the latest, but we talked about whether the grants would be more successful if we did it separately or together. We've also done, there's a nature trail at the marina, and they're gonna look into whether that, how they came about that, what kind of granting they got for that nature trail. And we discussed some of other possibilities, like other users, exclusively on the port side. You could like equestrian type of thing. I also have mentioned a couple of times about it could be a primitive campground on their side you do have the ability, I think, to be able to do that. There's, you know, that's more approaches to getting funding. Then we're looking at, I suggested, you know, we can look at granting in the ecological type of, whatever grants that are available for that. And also with salmon habitat along, these are things that we discussed, and the historical component. And they were, you know, we're thinking about that. We talked about some federal granting, such as the recreational trails program, which is actually they give the money to the state and the state allocates it. And there's also, we discussed using the area's rural status, since that gives us might give us a leg up on. We talked about the St. Helens Scappoose Trail, whether we can use piggyback on that to get a design for the trail through the area. That's it. We've been, a lot of the discussion was design. And we're not thinking that'd be that costly to get a design for where the trail should go. And also with the Elliot had asked me to try to figure out how many hours it would take to build the trails. And so we can get matching funds for granting on that. That's something that I'm looking into right now. And Lindsay's a really nice person, and she wants to go on a scheduled hike with us and Elliot to the reserve. So if we think about a date and time.
That would be great, especially in early fall.
Yeah, that's the brush is less. So that's the update on that.
Good comment on that. So it seems like the board of Columbia County is very enthusiastic about this project.
It is, it also fits into their narrative of to get their EPA grant to for the Pope and Talbot site.
So, so they have some monetary reasons too, but it seems to me like that if we wanted to put a trail or other things over the side that you've mentioned, maybe we should partner with, you know, we get the zoning change, so maybe et cetera, and do that part of the project. And the city comes around, which I think is gonna probably take a little longer than do the city part. What's your thinking on that side?
Well, we're looking at, you know, for the total granting, that's what we're looking at.
Both sides.
Both sides for the trail, you know, trying to get an idea of how many volunteer hours are.
So, okay, I like the idea that you have someone that's gonna, you know, write grants for that. So what do we have to, what does the city have to do for us to be able to, right? So do they have to rezone their part of it so we can put a trail in there? And maybe, you know, eventually we would like to redo the, you know, the old Boise Historical Park. So what has to happen before work can be done on the city side?
Well, I think that's where we're at as far as I'm interested to see Lucas's presentation, because we were talking about the boundaries and finalizing exactly where we're looking to ask. And then when we have our joint meeting on the 22nd, when we discuss Milton Creek, I'm really hoping to push getting kind of a final answer there.
So Dana, so, you know, like when we went down there and walked, you know, we walked the area that we'd like.
Yeah.
you know, the city to set aside. So at the joint meeting, Scott, Lucas, we're gonna ask the city to rezone that or
Yeah,
our
I'd like to do that. I'd like to ask them, to, yes, to designate that area and whatever they have to do on their end
That's
to
what
make
I
it,
think that area
make it
has to
so.
be, you know.
Yep.
It has to be say, okay, you guys
Mhm.
can take this land and develop it into a trail and a park and
Yep.
whatever.
Yeah, because we can't do any of the developing, we can't do any of the planning, we can't do any moving forward until they have okayed the land itself for it. So that's, you know, we've been in that process of the investigating, the information gathering, Lucas's presentation, I'm excited for, and really solidifying those boundaries. And I think, I'm hoping we're at that point where this meeting, we can get that final say, because then if they're like, okay, yes, and we've designated it and we're moving forward on whatever they have to as far as rezoning to officially legally have it set up for our future use, then we can go back to the port and be like, okay, great, I mean, we can't do much now just because of finances and planning, but whatever you guys want and can do on your end, in relationship to it, let's get going. So I think
That's
we're
what I
about
think.
there.
I think once, you know, the land gets designated for a park and a trail in the future, you know, it sounds to me like the port is really willing to help,
Yeah.
you know, both sides of the creek there. I mean.
And I think letting council know that and being really clear with council about that when we go with our ask, I'm hoping that will be some of that leverage we need for them to say, okay, yeah, let's go.
And it wouldn't be all that much money for a grant because trail building is a lot of volunteer work. So
Yeah.
there wouldn't need to be a lot of cost associated with it. Another thing that I forgot to bring up was, I ran into Cassidy or Kaylin Cassidy, the spotlight reporter, and gave her number. And I haven't contacted her yet about that. Then when I was speaking with Lindsay, she said, well, Sean Clark had the column in the spotlight and she ghostwrites some of it. And she said, oh, we could do a column together if that's okay with everybody.
Great.
Hear no nays. So.
You wanna make that formal or?
I think, well, I think let's talk officially with council and loop in Crystal.
Well,
Prior-
Crystal has already been looped in because I've been trying to get something written in that spotlight for since last December. And
But she's our official communications person though, right?
Kaylin already contacted Crystal
Okay.
to talk to me about it. So that happened last December, and haven't gotten together on it since. So I don't think there should be an issue with it, since it was already agreed to in the first place with the communications.
Well, okay, I think I'm a little confused there too. So Brandon, as far as city's perspective with us communicating, wanting to put something into a publication regarding this, is that something that would have to go through Crystal, even if it's like considering this scenario? What's your opinion?
What I'm saying is that I've already gone through Crystal.
So has she approved? But you said last
Yes.
December.
Yes, she has approved doing an article in the spotlight about the Milk Creek Reserve.
Okay, and they don't have, they're not particular about language or what information
Not
we're
given any
giving or?
guidance.
Okay. I'm just trying to be mindful of that, because I don't know, I know the
Step on any
city,
toes.
huh?
Don't want to step on any toes.
Well, I think as
Yeah,
long as Crystal's given the approval, I think that's good to go.
But I can touch base with her again.
yeah, would you be willing to do that? And then, I mean, especially if she can shoot an email, with any guidance and or like bullet points of what we should or should not include? Just to have some guidelines.
If we do
Could she
an
prove?
article together, I can give the draft to her that she can look at.
I was thinking, yeah, let her proofread it,
Yeah, yeah,
edit it. I guess edit it would be more appropriate.
yeah. Just being mindful of that. Yeah.
No, I'm not gonna step on any toes. Sorry.
That's a line, you
Yeah,
know.
sorry.
You can step on Jerry's. It's fine. You're
Yeah, I
there.
just did.
We go on to the slideshow.
Yes, please.
Well, maybe in 15 or 20 minutes.
No, we're almost out of time.
Yeah.
Well, that's a nice one. That is Thursday.
Oh, Dana, can you
Bamboo.
can you make me host again?
It's all been.
Oh, how do I do that?
It's great.
I think it's the three little dots in the top right corner.
And the five.
3 little dots. Meeting
What things you
settings.
could do with that bamboo?
It's quite, it is quite, you just, that versatile wood, to be quite honest, yeah.
Get a bunch of
Oh.
bamboo stakes.
Are you seeing it?
I get a bunch of bamboo stakes.
It says the 3 little dots to say more, right?
In our picture,
Oh, in your picture. Goodness
like in our
gracious.
video, little.
Make host.
Thank you.
Woohoo! You realize I'm not tech savvy. You gotta walk me through it.
That's okay. We're figuring it out together.
You're in control again.
Okay, 1 second here.
Usually aim for, the longest is usually just barely 2 hours, give or take a few minutes.
You know how you and I talk.
With this presentation, all the photos in here have a figure with them, and included on the map that I have shows where these pictures were taken. So let's move on to the next slide.
So you're gonna pass, so if I caught that right, you're gonna pass out a map.
I don't have one physically. And I was thinking that just asking for the whole quadrant 2 that was in the St. Helens Industrial Business Park parcelization report would be the entire Milton Creek Woodland Reserve area for the city. I feel like that's easy to ask for, just because it's already been mapped out. And it just covers all that area. And we can move on to the next one. And here we have where it shows a bunch of camas meadows and where the quarries are on the map, as well as vernal pools and where it seasonally floods, where we talked about when we went for our walk there to decide what to ask for. But there's many species of birds that utilize the location as a stop for migrations because the high quality habitat. Numerous reptile and amphibian species are dependent on the seasonal wetlands and the rocky habitat provided by the meadow. And just a few weeks ago, a project I had been working on in part for the past couple of years got published into Northwestern Naturalist. And it highlights this property as one of the main areas in Columbia County where wildlife habitat is extensive. So I don't know if that could be used in any way to support this endeavor. I know I had some help with that, so if that's a conflict of interest at all. But these fragmented meadows represent the northern limit for multiple mammal species such as gray foxes and western brush rabbit, which may still occur here. It's not for sure, but probably figure that out with a game camera.
Well, species are brush rabbits.
Both those species. Like there's reports of gray foxes from like 30 years ago in St. Helens, but we're unsure if they still exist. And it's just high quality habitat that many rare plants and insects and all that use.
Just real quick, what's the blue?
Blue is like seasonally flooded areas or vernal pools that they dry out completely during the summer, but it would stay wet during pretty much every other time of the year.
There's incredible habitat in some of our Vernal pools, we've been learning about them at Nob Hill, that how special they are.
Go on to the next slide. And the main thing about the property is also the history. The quarries are present across both the port side of the property and the city side. We saw them all across and mapped new ones, and using LiDAR data, I was able to go through and look for where there's indents and assumed that those are also quarries. And there's also Native American history on the site. It was a temporary reservation, 1856, and was likely used a long time before that. Go to the next slide.
Real quick, because I know I kind of hate.
No,
So my understanding is where the bridge is that crosses Old Portland Road, there used to be a sawmill in there somewhere.
yes,
The town of Milton, right?
yeah, the whole,
Confluence with the creek and the
Where
bay.
where was that old sawmill? Where was that old sawmill specifically located?
I have no idea. I haven't looked into that, but
Yeah, I saw it on a survey of, one of the bridges. Okay, never mind.
most of the sawmills were further up Milton Creek a little way.
What I saw was by the bridge.
But if we make this into a nature park, it would increase access to natural areas, which improves public health, provides new walking and hiking areas, and opportunities for the public to learn about the native habitats of the Willamette Valley. And a dedicated nature park with extensive camas meadows will for sure bring in tourism from people all over. These areas are so rare nowadays, and people love them.
Okay, next question. I know what, so what is your thought, like, when the camas is blooming, it's just beautiful. Then, when it's gone after a month or so, it's can't even tell it's there. What's your thinking of how will that area be protected in any way? Because if people start, if we start the trails in those camas fields, once you start a trail that's, that everyone walks on, it pretty well stays like that. I mean, I know you're on this, but yeah,
I mean, we can take inspiration from other nature parks that are similar. Like in my original presentation that I gave to you guys, I mentioned that Assia Nature Park in Portland, which is very similar to this property, uses wooden walking bridges across the meadow. And yeah, just having a defined area where.
I think that should be protected at least, somehow.
Absolutely, I agree.
Had the same questions about some areas of Nob Hill that people love to walk out through our Camas Meadow.
Yeah,
And
you can't-
Camas likes to grow on shallow, on rocks. And then during the summertime, people walk across it, they turn it to dust, then it blows away and washes away. And how do we protect those things? So,
Good question.
That's a good slide.
Yeah,
and it's good we're asking all this now and not at the presentation.
only 0.25% of original Camas meadows remain. Before 1850, Oregon's Willamette Valley had around 400,000 acres of Camas meadows. Today, there are less than 1,000. These meadows cannot be replaced. I can find the actual source for this if you're curious about this information, but
We trust.
okay. And we can go to the next slide.
But I would say that, it's been documented.
Camas or
The statistics you just gave there.
Yeah. that's from ODFW.
Okay, I just say.
And communities that show care about their natural environments, communities where people want to be and continue to build and be a part of. Yeah, that's it.
You sold me.
I think you should say how beautiful the creek is.
Yeah.
I don't think people realize how pretty how beautiful that creek is through that area.
Yeah.
I feel like it's such an important part of the history of what makes St. Helens, St. Helens. Just
Would we want to mention anything about that could actually be connected to the old railroad line and be another huge trail that could eventually another section
Well,
that could bring people in?
I have brought up a number of times about the Scappoose, Santa Ana trails.
Oh, yeah.
And that's-
But even just this one, this one just going down and hitting the railroad tracks and then coming
Yeah.
to the
The
near plant
the
property.
port has showed me a map of their dream with a trail along the river that loops it connects to this trail.
And I think for, you know, we've mentioned already in the past with them, you know, some of the potential future development options, you know, and I don't think that's anything that they are questioning even. One thing that I really like about this that Luke has put together is particularly that slide where it shows all of the quarry sites and the vernal pools. I think that was the piece that we were really missing during our last conversation. And I think that's really going to be vital for this conversation coming up, because that is that area of land that they were kind of not, that's the only area that they weren't really like, yeah, we're okay, we can give up, you know, all this other land. That one was the one they were holding on to. And yet this slide that you created, Lucas, is beautiful. It shows all of the important aspects of the whole project located right in that section. And I'm hoping that that carries a big impact for the ask of clear designation for the boundaries. So
Did you do that also for the side?
I haven't, but I could. Absolutely.
Because I'd like, if you could send that to me, I'd like to forward it on to all of you.
Yeah, I made that in Google Earth and. after that. How do we feel about the property ask area?
Oh, this is what we asked for previously.
yeah,
Had a little pushback on it because there's the potential way down the line of development on that canvas field. That's what, it's like 5 acres, you said?
Yeah, somewhere
So
around
it's about
5-6 acres.
which is what, 0.5% of all left, the canvas that's left from your slide.
It's one of the largest meadows still anywhere in town, and it's the only property that's like fully on city
Largest
property.
Meadow anywhere. And
Yeah.
And here.
We got
I think-
Liberty Hill, but that's
That's private.
totally different situation.
between the Camas and the quarry sites on that particular section, I think that is absolutely warranted to include it in our final ask.
Mhm.
And as I said before, that there's a high potential for that high area where the camas is. To
Mhm.
have Native American sites.
Absolutely.
And this won't affect the future PGE substation at all. That is planned for the area.
I think it's all with the substation side with that.
Awesome. Well, I think that was a really great job. And yes, can we utilize this for our joint meeting?
Yeah, and if I need to change it around anyway at all, just let me know.
But
No, I thought,
hard work on it.
oh, it's beautiful.
And congratulations on the publication.
All right. Okay. Well, we are almost at that 6 o'clock and I don't see,
Can I say one last thing?
Oh, yeah.
I tried to contact the Grand Ron tribe. Well, 2 or 3
Mm.
times. I have yet to get hold of anybody.
okay.
I actually have a contact with somebody who's works at their native nursery, who runs their native nursery. So maybe.
All right. Well, thank you for that.
I have the phone number right here.
Yeah. Yeah, send me a text, email, whatever.
All right.
Okay, great.
You
Oh.
could call from West Palm Beach. It's not down from
All right. So I don't see a buck for a staff report. And so Brandon, counselor's report.
I've got to take off in like 30 seconds, so
Yep.
bypass to next time, but I don't really have
Okay.
anything pressing.
Great. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we have less than a minute. If anyone has something super important for discussion items that we were not able to get to today.
Discussion item, all I'd say is Nauville Nature Park has our annual work party, November the 1st.
Awesome.
What time?
1 to 3. We're meeting by the sewage
1 to
treatment.
3.
Yeah.
November third.
Annual.
No, first, November 1st.
Great. Well, thank you guys. Super
Yes.
super productive meeting. I'll put together my proposed conversation agenda for the Joint Commission meeting on the 22nd. I hope to see as many of you there as possible for a positive, constructive meeting. Otherwise, thank you all, and I'd like to adjourn.